What is going on, everyone? Joe here, and welcome back to episode 6 of my FM19 beta series here with Roma. We're going to get this episode underway by having a look at Kostas Manolas, and he's actually come to me complaining about wanting a move to a bigger team. And as we can see on the screen here, he's easily our best defender, and he's actually got a £34 million release clause, so it's looking likely he'll be leaving in January, to be honest. So following that, Lorenzo Pellegrini has penned a 100k per week contract. As you can see on the screen, he's a very versatile young player, and only 22 still, and it actually makes him one of the club's biggest earners, I believe. It's probably too much money at this point for him. However, after Manolas came to me complaining, I checked the squad for release clauses, and Pellegrini was the only one with a release clause, so I've tied him down basically. So let's take a look how we've done since the last episode. So obviously we ended the last episode with a 3-0 defeat of Juventus, my first defeat as Roma manager, and we followed that up with another 3-0 defeat. However, this time we were at home to Cagliari, an absolutely horrific display, it must be said, although that second goal was very nice from Paduan there. But yeah, an absolutely abysmal performance all in all. Looking at the stats now, we actually had 3 clear-cut chances and 5 half chances in this game. Failed to score any of them, obviously, and so our second defeat suffered very quickly. So it was very pleasing to get the win in Austria away at Salzburg. 3-2 it was on the night, because it seemed we're in a really low patch here. Perotti opens the scoring for us after the Karsdorp assist, who's actually recovered from his broken foot, I think it was, from the beginning of the season. And this was quite a good game to watch, very open game. Salzburg needed to win really to keep their hopes of qualifying from the group alive. So they really came out and went for it. However, I think we just overall had more quality on the night. Cristante with a really nice goal here. He tucks that really nicely into the bottom corner there. And it's 2-1 before the 20th minute here in Austria. And following that, we're still in the 19th minute. Liner crosses it in and Daka equalises 2-2 on 20th minute. However, in the 80th minute, we would push forward here. Cristante plays it out to Pellegrini. There's a man on the wing, gives it to Karsdorp. He whips in the cross and Edin Dzeko actually misses the chance. However, Karsdorp crosses it in again and Cristante scores his second of the game. Cristante's been a real goal-scoring threat for us so far this season from midfield. So following the Salzburg game, I hoped our rotten 2-game form was over. However, we struggled to a 1-1 draw in the Serie A following that game. We actually got underway really well. 5th minute, Dzeko opened the scoring for us, as you see. However, in the 30th minute, it comes from a goal kick, Bologna. We clear it, and I don't know how that's happened. Destro's in a goal, he slots it away. It's just a route one ball from centre-back to striker in the back of the net. And we drop more points in the league. So after not losing in our first 12 games, we pick up just 1 point from our last 3 league games. However, we followed the Bologna game with a massive game at home at the Olympico versus Napoli. Schick scores the first goal as he's tripped up. He falls over just in front of the goal line, but he still tucks it home. So we scored just before half time there. And then the 56th minute, Florenzi, 2 under, back to Florenzi. Lovely little 1-2 there into play. Under gets the ball in and Perotti at the back post, 2-0. And we secure the win against Napoli. So there you have it. We failed to beat Cagliari and Bologna in the league, but we can beat Napoli fairly comfortably, it was on the night. So I'm not sure what's going on at the moment. We've hit some rough form, it must be said. However, after that Napoli result, I hope we're really back on track now and we can carry on our good form from the beginning of the season. So I thought we'd have a quick look at the league table now, seeing as today's game is a Champions League game. So here we are, 15 games played. Juventus have now opened a big gap at the top. They have a 8-point lead over us with 41 points from 15 games. They're still undefeated. We're just ahead of Lazio on goal difference. Milan are the only big team who at this point have failed to kind of keep touch with the leading pack. So, moving on to today's game, we will face Atletico Madrid at home at the Olympico in the Group E Showdown. We're both already qualified for the knockout stages. This game decides who will win the group and who will come second. So it certainly has the potential to be a big game. They're actually missing Oblak, who's out with a fractured finger. However, Diego Godin, who missed our first tie with them this season, he's back. He's back in the team. He's just returned from fitness from, I think it was torn calf muscle. So let's have a quick look at some players to watch for Atleti. Of course, Antoine Griezmann is their talisman. He's their main man. We have to watch out for him. Such a wonderful attacking player. Would do really well to keep him in check. Moving on to Thomas Lemar. He's a real talent. They obviously signed him this summer. We'll need to make sure we look out for him on that left wing. And if you remember back to last episode versus Juventus, Douglas Costa was the man who tore us apart in that game. And I'm looking at Gelson Martins, and he's very similar to Douglas Costa, to be honest. He won't start today, but he'll come off the bench most likely. And we'll need to make sure we keep him in check, unlike how we did with Juventus and Douglas Costa. So tactics is something I feel I haven't really discussed so far. So I've kind of settled on a 4-1-4-1 now after playing about with a few other different formations. This is the tactic that got us the win against Napoli. I think it suits our squad quite well. It's a fairly versatile formation, so I think this is what we'll be playing with moving forward. So let's take a look at today's lineups. For Roma, Robin Olsen starts in goal, with Alessandro Florenzi, Federico Fazio, Kostas Manolas and Davide Santon across the back, and Zonzi with De Rossi and Pellegrini just in front of him. Under and Perotti start on the wings, with Edin Dzeko up front in that 4-1-4-1 shape. And for Atletico Madrid, Antonio Adnan starts in goal in the place of Oblak. Juan Fran starts with Godin, Jimenez and Lucas Hernandez across the defence. Vitolo starts with Koke, Rodri and Thomas Lemar, with Diego Costa and Antoine Griezmann starting up front. So we actually picked up a point away in Spain in the first tie against Atleti this season. So obviously we're at home this time. I'm hoping we can get the 3 points. Obviously we only need a draw to top the group. However, I'm going to try and play some fairly positive football, whilst obviously being responsible defensively. See if we can create anything against this, obviously one of the best defensive teams in Europe. However, into the first minute now, and Thomas Lemar has the ball on the left. Hopefully we don't concede as early as we did for Juventus. Lemar into Costa, and it's blocked and out for a corner. Nothing comes of that, so we move on, and we're actually going to make some early changes here. I want to defend narrow this game. I don't want any gaps for Atleti to exploit. I'm also going to try and play a bit more direct, so hopefully we can kind of counter them slightly when we win the ball back. So moving on now, De Rossi on the ball, into Pellegrini, and into Dzeko, and that pass wouldn't be possible if they were playing a DM, so I'm looking kind of to play that ball into Dzeko so he can really hold it up this game. Now Pellegrini tackled Jimenez, but Dzeko wins it back, falls to Under, shoots from range, and it's saved out for a corner. Good effort there from Under. Usually I don't like it when we shoot from range, but good effort from Under, must be said. So now, 7th minute, De Rossi back to Nzonzi. What can we create here? Pellegrini into Under, another long range effort, much more tame this time. I'm really hoping we can work it into the box a bit more. But of course, we know how tough Atleti are to break down. So Manolas now at the back. Into Pellegrini, we're dominating the ball here, 60% possession. Dzeko, back to Nzonzi, Pellegrini. Nice triangles going on with the DM, the striker and the two centre mids. Dzeko, back to De Rossi, out to Florenzi in space on the right wing. Crosses it, Perotti, Diego Perotti puts it away. Roma go 1-0 up, and what a start we've had to this game. Dzeko held it up really well, he found De Rossi, and Lemar didn't track Florenzi, who attacked from that wing-back position. Perotti hits the back post, gets there ahead of Juan Fran, and he tucks home really comfortably. 19th minute, 1-0 Roma, great start for us. As we move on to the 39th minute now, there's been very little to talk about. Pellegrini into Dzeko, he shoots from range, it goes just wide. And there you go, on to half time. And Atleti have created very little, to be honest, so far, apart from at the very beginning, of course. And as you can see by the stats, we've absolutely dominated the game, 67% possession to 33. They haven't had a shot on target, so we're definitely looking good so far. Hopefully we can continue this into the second half. So at half time, I'm going to tell the boys not to be complacent. As I think I mentioned it before, I always do this when we're winning, especially in a big close game. And we're just going to send them out, not change anything tactically. We're looking good. And see if we can repeat our performance from the first half, basically. So here we are, 48th minute now. Hernandez has it into Koke. Bit of space here for Atleti. Rodri sends it forward. Griezmann, the keeper comes to... Oh my word, he hasn't been able to collect it. Olsen misses the ball and Griezmann nods home into the empty net. 1-1 just after half time. Not an ideal start to the second half, to say the least. Rodri, it's just a hopeful ball forward, really. It's under control. There's two defenders around Griezmann and Olsen, and none of them can claim it. Griezmann gets there ahead of all three of them. Really poor from our defence there. Not happy with that at all. However, quickly moving on now, it's the 51st minute. Pellegrini has a free kick and he puts it in. Pellegrini scores from a free kick in the 51st minute. I mean, we didn't even see how that free kick was won on the highlights, but what a free kick from Pellegrini from some way out. Curls it in, and on the replay we can see that Adnan should really be doing better there. It's not even right in the corner, but we won't complain. Pellegrini puts us 2-1 up and erases that terrible goal we conceded to Griezmann. So following that goal, I make a few changes. We're going to put De Rossi on a ball-winning midfielder instead of box-to-box. Hopefully he can be a bit more focused defensively now. Moving on to the 65th minute now, still only one shot on target for Atleti, and we're still being fairly dominant. We're actually going to go cautious to try and make sure we don't overcommit men forward as Partey comes on for Atleti. And we're going to bring Dzeko off here, our first substitution. I'm going to bring Schick on as a pressing forward. I think he's better defensively than Dzeko, and he's definitely more suited to that role. So now moving on, we're going to make another change, and we're taking a look at Kolarov, and we're actually going to bring him on in that left wing position for Diego Perotti. I thought about bringing Clive on, but I thought, why not bring Kolarov on there? He's much better defensively, and that's what we're looking to do to see out the game. However, 75th minute now, Pellegrini, he's tackled by Gelson Martins, and what can he do with it? Nzonzi tackles Griezmann, shoots from range, and comfortable save for Olsen, really. However, that is Atleti's second shot on target there. As Cengiz Under picks up an injury, not ideal, just before the 80th minute, and we'll bring on Justin Kluivert now. So that's all 3 substitutes made now, so hopefully we can see out the game with this team. So moving on here, we're into the 80th minute. Santon, he's got very little options, pumps it up to Kolarov, who's not going to get near that. Jimenez will clear up, but he gives it away. Here's Schick, he tries to whip it into the far post, goes over the bar. Good chance there to finish Atleti after the mistake from Jimenez, very unlike him. So now into the 86th minute, we're going to make more changes. We're going to lower the tempo. We're going to basically try and shut up shop now. We're not going to commit anyone forward, be more disciplined. We don't need to try and push for another goal here. And you'll notice here I've lowered the line of engagement whilst keeping the defensive line high. And that's basically going to keep all our players very close together and make us super compact, as well as playing narrow defensively. So hopefully Atleti are going to have no space on the ball. And here we are, we've moved on to the 94th minute with 2 minutes remaining out of the 6 added on. Lamar, Partey, Koke, what can Atleti create? Santon with a really big interception there, clears to Schick. And Kluivert, we can counter here, we can finish them. Kluivert, can he get a ball in? Whips it in. Kolarov doesn't quite have the pace to get there at the back post. And Gelson Martins picks it up for Atleti. We need to get back now. Dangerous Gelson Martins gives it to Griezmann. We're out of position slightly as well. Gelson Martins gets the ball in and Olsen comes and claims it. Brilliant keeping there. And we move on, there's just 20 seconds left. Davide Santon gives it to Kolarov, and it looks like we're going to see out the game here. Whips the cross in, no one's there, but it doesn't really matter. Adnan needs to get rid of it. There's a few seconds left, and that is it. The game is over. We have beaten Atleti Madrid at the Olympico, and that is a massive win for us. We topped the group of the Champions League, and after the win against Napoli, that really puts us back on form. And looking at the stats, I think we probably deserved it. We dominated the ball, and we definitely created the most chances in the second half. There actually wasn't a clear-cut chance in the whole game, but we did enough to get the win. So we'll tell the boys we're delighted with them. Great performance, it must be said. And Under's picked up an injury, which is frustrating. It'll keep him out for about a month, but what can you do? We've got players who can replace him for now. So taking a look at the final standings in Group E, we topped the group on 14 points. We went undefeated as well, only drawing in the 2 away games at AEK Athens and Atletico. So really happy with our performance in the group, and hopefully we'll get a favourable draw in the knockout stages. And talking about the knockout stages, we'll see who we draw in the next episode. So I'm not sure exactly which game we're going to play in the next episode, but I think we're going to try and progress a fair few games through, probably towards the end of January, beginning of February. So we'd have finished the January transfer window. So there'll be a lot to cover in the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave a like and drop a sub if you did. Comment down below, tell me what you thought, and I'll see you guys in the next one.